I'm glad now that I'm not the only one that's had audio.
What?
Your weird speed up last week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't change anything here. I don't know what I could change. I don't know how
Dude, sometimes it's just like
Craig.
Yeah, sometimes Craig just decides like you're gonna sound weird, and then it's like, oh, thanks, Craig. Thanks, Craig. I should watch Friday again.
That's such a good movie.
Although all time.
Does it hold up though?
I'm sure it does.
Friday.
I'm sure
in the late 80s, early 90s.
I'm sure the principles of the movie hold up as long as you don't think about
the language they're using.
The language and maybe also who they became.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
As actors and musicians.
I mean, you can't, if we use past people to hold against current people, no person survives, right? I think it's like
I don't think so.
Your ideals of the past never hold up to your present.
Probably something along those lines. It's not as maybe when we're on.
I mean, I'm all for making people look dumb who are making themselves look dumb in the current day, but
well, you know what, and also like it's good to admit when you have an opinion of somebody that probably is from the past instead of the present. Like I was watching you. Hello, welcome to episode 438 of We Were Gamers. JJ, I guess we'll find out what you wanted to talk about later.
Seems good.
in the episode. What was it? Past and present. Sometimes present people are better than past people. Like you were telling me to watch the Tolarian Academy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And some of his older videos were kind of like a little bit on the whiny side about magic, and I understand it comes from a place of deep love for the thing, and it wasn't like trollish, and it wasn't negative for negativity's sake. It wasn't even like the streamers bashing on games negativity, but it does. Some of the older stuff is like, I'm concerned about this, I'm concerned about that, but a lot of the newer stuff really seems to have embraced Commander and the changes that the game has gone through and all those sorts of things. And I've actually been watching a lot more Tolarian Academy lately.
I think than
before.
I think with him specifically, like, he did a lot of bemoaning, in various videos of certain times and certain things. And he kind of got the feedback at some point that people were like, okay, but if all you do is complain, it just looks like you're a crank,
He definitely, crank is exactly the right word. Crank is exactly the right word for what he was doing.
He's like, but no, I love this game. I love all this stuff. And then people are like, and your videos are just like you complaining constantly. And he's like, oh. And then like if you go start, like if you've been watching the Shuffle Up and Play series and like some of that stuff, it's just great. Like even the stuff where he doesn't play Commander, like Shuffle Up and Play where they're playing Standard and stuff is interesting too. Like they have a lot of good videos.
Yeah. Shuffle Up and Play made me think like, I wonder if any time in my life in the future I'll ever have time to do like a sealed event or something like that.
It's not that hard. I think you just need like 4 or 5 people and a bunch of packs. Or I think it's 8 people.
Yeah.
For a guaranteed full set.
That's the problem. Is like I don't have 8 people. The money's not that big a deal. The time is, and the 8 people is.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a bummer to think about too deeply. So let's not think about it, and instead, I guess since we're talking about Magic, we'll do a quick hit on Magic.
Sure.
Just playing Arena and freaking out over Tom Bombadil casting Shiva.
One of those cards is in Arena currently.
Tom Bombadil?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of sagas in there. You could probably make a brawl deck out of Tom Bombadil already.
Yeah, there's a lot of extremely powerful sagas. Lots.
There's going to be some sagas that are creatures pretty soon. Michael, in the game, sagas are like... So... There's enchantments, right? Enchantment's like a spell that stays on the board, and it just sort of does something over time.
Okay. Yep.
A saga is a spell that stays on the board because it's an enchantment, but it changes what it does every turn until it expires and disappears because it's more powerful than a normal enchantment.
Gotcha. Okay.
Basically, like you put a counter on it and it ticks up until it hits the final counter and then disappears.
Yeah.
And I think
So they're
making summons into sagas is like one of the most genius ideas they've ever had.
I can hear it, you know.
Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, because they're time limited, right? Summons are time limited. You know?
Mm-hmm. They got the countdown.
The only thing we need now is for Disney to sign off on Kingdom Hearts coming to Magic, because Square already is okay with Final Fantasy coming to Magic. And then we can get summons from Kingdom Hearts, and we'll have Simba as a saga in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I don't foresee that happening unless Lorcana goes under, right?
No, it would never happen. Never say never, I guess.
You're more likely to see Sora and Riku
in Lorcana.
Yeah, or in Magic than you would be to see any of the Disney characters in Magic.
I think Disney owns part of Sora, don't they? They can't.
This is me making a giant shrug.
Yeah. I think you would see Sora and Lorcana pretty much more easily. Okay, I think I'm done with Magic for the week. Arena's Arena, and nothing's changed really with Ether Drift as far as I can tell. So
yeah, and there's some cool cards out there. Like I saw some people doing some pretty sick stuff with Ketramos, making a lot of exile and drawing cards. But yeah, I mean, it's like fun decks, but not necessarily crazy powerful ones. There's like, you know, a few cards here and there, but it's like decks that were already powerful got more powerful, not like brand new stuff is taken over.
Fair enough. Well, something that's brand new and not going to take over, in my opinion, but I might be coloring the court. It's time to convene the food court. Back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
All right, all rise.
Here we go.
JJ, get your gavel. I don't have a video handy, and frankly, I'm too disturbed to go find it. But I came across in my food for you, etc., was a gentleman somewhat gaining popularity, I believe, in the UK somewhere. I don't want to say where in the UK because I don't want to get it wrong. He could be in Wales, he could be in London, he could be anywhere. But he was bagging on Americans. He's like, I don't understand why Americans don't like this spud. And got a potato out. I would say it was a large style potato, probably larger than a russet. A huge golden potato style potato. He got two of them. He cut one in half, cut the other one in half, threw away half of one of them. So you had 1.5 potatoes opened up into a takeout tray. They filled up a full takeout styrofoam container, these 3 halves of potato. Don't know what they did with the other one. Don't care. It starts off all right. I love a potato. I've got Irish blood. I'll eat it. I'll eat it in any form. Then he threw garlic butter on it. And I was like, yeah, right, we're doing good.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Yeah, this seems fun.
Yeah. Covered it in cheese.
Sure. Like, yeah.
We're into that. Americans love this type of potato. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then we threw on an English staple, which Americanized would be wonderful on a potato. He threw some beans in there.
Okay.
Yeah. You could do barbecue beans, chili beans, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Then the tuna salad went on top.
Oh, hard turn.
2 ice cream scoops of tuna salad.
You were just... This is the unforced error right here.
What meat can go on a potato? All meat. Fish is often served with potatoes. A fish and chips is a wonderful version of fish and potatoes. And I can see how you could back into this idea of fish and chips is great. So tuna salad and baked potato might be all right.
Separately.
I don't understand this mountain of food. It was a mountain of food that wasn't enough already with the beans and the cheese and the huge amounts of potato.
And to
We
be
had
clear,
to add
potato
2
isn't
ice
like-
cream scoops.
To be clear, you're saying the potato isn't even cut up. It's like a half a potato sitting there.
I mean, you cut the potato in half, right? And you kind of like just sort of flat. He sort of like used a knife to sort of flatten it out a little bit to make it the bottom of the takeout tray.
Okay, so it just like smashes it flat, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, less smashed, more separated open. Like
Okay.
if you were gonna have a baked potato and stuff it with stuff, but bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like everything here, except for the tuna, is probably doable. You know?
Oh, absolutely. But what? This is why I wanted to convene the court. It's a crime, right? First of all, we can just be like, this is a crime.
Yes.
But the problem is, I can't describe to you why it's a crime when fish and potatoes go well together. And but my brain looks at it and goes, that's wrong, and it's gonna taste horrible. So what is it?
So probably two things for me is the combination of tuna salad and beans like mashed together is just
Texturally wrong.
kind of an unappetizing combination. But then 2, like you almost never will prepare or see cheese and fish together in the same dish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just
true.
it's one of those like food no-nos.
Yeah. Because
Like there are exceptions, but
it's like even, you know, if you try to think of this like, oh, like this is the like carne asada fries of English
England.
food, right? Like, okay, look, I can be a little piggy. I'll eat carne asada fries. It's fine. Like they're good. Like all those ingredients together are good. You know, meat, cheese, guacamole, fries. Like all this is wonderful. But you throw something in there like with this, you know, you're like making like a chili baked potato. Great. Like let's throw all the stuff in there. All complimentary. Cheese, great. Chili, great. Beans, great. You know, all this other stuff, great. Fish?
See, that's so yeah. But you just brought up the carne asada fry, right? And in my brain I go, you know what else is a good version of a carne asada fry? Is the seared ahi nacho. You know, where it's like I guess maybe those don't have cheese though.
They don't have cheese, and those are more. They're like an homage to nachos, but they're more a deconstruction of something else.
Yeah, the thing that those have is it's like a seared ahi on top of like, you know, bed of chips, and then they use mayo as the binder, right? Or like a creamy,
Yep,
a chipotle sauce or something. That's the binder, and you have that in the tuna salad. So I see how you get there. But that's not the combination way.
It was also structurally wrong. Everything about it was structurally fine, right? Like when you construct a one dish plate, there's a structure to it. Like a carne asada fry is towered on itself. It has lift to it.
You don't put the fries on last. Like those are the base, you know.
Yeah, but everything you continue to construct is kind of like upwards in the pyramid shape. Right? And then it kind of trickles down as you eat it. Or the nacho. The nacho is a very flat situation. And everything you're putting onto the nacho, even if it's an ahi nacho with the mayo, is a very flat situation. Everything's kind of laid out. So you pick up the chip and you're good to go. This started out texturally correct, structurally correct. Right? You've got the potato kind of flattish, the cheese kind of flattish, that butter that's underneath kind of flattish, the beans flattish. It all kind of flattened out into one big thing. So I understand how you're gonna eat it when you got to dig through all that potato at the bottom to add all this stuff to it that's just sort of down there. But then you've got the firm ice cream scoops of tuna fish salad on the top, separated from the whole dish, like some sort of
and so
mountain of.
You come to the idea, you're like, oh, fish and chips are great together, but you're not eating the fried fish with the chip in the same bite. You're having a bite of the fish and then you're having a chip, right? Like they're not together, combined.
Yeah,
Right,
but even
they're
like
also
even
both
then,
fried.
even if you did try to take them in the same bite, they are both given similar treatments and so
With the
have a similar
frying.
texture and flavor, as opposed to this being like the beans, which are kind of sweet and syrupy, and then the tuna with the mayo and the potato and the cheesy potato. It's too many things.
Yeah. So Americans don't like it because you've created an abomination. That's
Yeah, I mean, good on the British for attempting to put flavor into their food somehow. It's just this wasn't the right way to do it.
no. Go to Texas, or maybe don't go to Texas. Find
Take
another place that does barbecue.
take the tuna fish off and use curry powder, and then just stop.
Oh shoot!
There you go.
Oh shoot! There you go.
There you
Curried
go. Right?
ketchup. Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I wonder if curried ketchup is a thing there.
Yeah, they're not big into ketchup over there, I don't think.
I know, but curry should be around in that country.
Like, look, I mean, you can make ketchup. It's not very hard. And they got curry for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Michael,
Yo,
we're on a food topic, and you have some reviews for us.
I do have some reviews. So if you guys know anything about me, you know that I love limited time food flavors.
I had two guesses, and that was one of them.
Okay, well there you go. So in the last couple of months, we have tried a bunch of limited time flavors. I guess with the holidays, it's the season for companies to roll out new stuff. So I've reached critical mass, and I figured I'd run down a list for you guys and give you some reviews.
Okay.
So I'll give you the quick rundown with some rankings on it, and then
I gotta shake myself back into the holiday spirit. Like to figure it's like cold out. It's starting to get warm out here, so I was like, I gotta get myself colder.
Yeah, it was like 77 today down here, and it's supposed to be hotter tomorrow.
It's supposed to be like in the 80s tomorrow here.
Yeah, t-shirt and shorts currently at 9:15.
Same. All right,
Yeah.
Michael,
So
hit us with the list.
I'll run through them I guess in the order that they came out makes the most sense. So first up was Shirley Temple 7-Up.
Sugar-free or regular? I think I know the answer.
Regular.
Okay, I've had sugar-free.
Okay. So for me, this was probably a 5 out of 10.
Interesting.
I think it was fine, but it just made me want a classic Shirley Temple.
Is this just 7-Up with grenadine?
Not quite.
Nope.
And I think that's the problem, is that a Shirley Temple is such a specific flavor, like a classic Shirley Temple, because of the grenadine. And they got close, maybe as close as you can get with a canned soda, but it wasn't quite there.
So
I guess if you just add grenadine to it, it probably is too sweet and then tastes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What? Well, how do you shake it up when it's in a can?
Right, that too, yeah, because it does settle a little bit. I think you have to pour it, because I did like it a little bit better poured out over ice than just cold out of the can.
We've discussed this before. It's intended to be poured.
Yep. It does change the flavor out of the can for sure.
Also, 7-Up to me is a little bit sweeter than Sprite, which I think makes for, when you make Shirley Temple with Sprite and grenadine, makes for a little bit better balance.
Oh, well, I think Shirley Temple is supposed to be 7-Up, though.
Is it?
I think classically is supposed to be 7-Up.
I'm with Andy. I believe the classic Shirley Temple is grenadine and 7-Up.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but it
could be the older
anything.
brand, so I would assume that it's been around longer.
Any lemon lime soda, right? Probably is fine.
You'll using a Starry for this?
No.
The sugar-free one was fine, but it just tasted sort of like a very light cherry. It didn't taste like grenadine.
Okay.
Have you guys had the cherry versions of like Dr. Pepper and Coke, like the regular cherry versions? Would you say this was them like getting a little more out of their cherry juice, whatever that is, from those, and just mixing it in here?
Could be.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, derailing.
No, it's good. It's supposed to. I mean, this says traditional Shirley Temples was made with ginger ale. I would love to try that.
That actually sounds really good.
So
Ginger
it's
ale or
ginger ale
ginger
and grenadine?
beer?
It says traditionally made with ginger ale.
Fascinating.
And grenadine then?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds pretty great.
Some people have substituted lemonade or orange juice in modern cocktail making for
If
the
you
lemon
substitute
lime.
orange juice, you are not making a Shirley Temple anymore. That's
Yeah,
like
if
a
you have orange juice, yeah. If
It's a
you
You're
have,
making,
non-alcoholic
you're making a
mimosa.
sunrise. No, you're making
well, it's a tequila sunrise, yeah.
Yeah.
minus tequila.
Or like almost a Cosmo. What's in a Cosmo these days? I don't know.
Cranberry juice.
Cranberry and orange, right?
Don't know that there's any oranges there.
Yeah, I think
Oh, lime. No, there's lime,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
No, there's Cointreau. There's orange in there.
Okay.
Not orange juice though.
Okay. Well, ginger ale actually leads nicely into the next one on the list, which was blackberry ginger ale. So Canada Dry put this out at Christmas time, and you could only get it from big box stores. So we picked up some of it from Costco. And this one was really good, actually. I like this one. Probably 7.5 out of 10.
Canada Dry went kind of nuts recently on flavors. I don't know
they've
if
they've put out a bunch of other ones recently too.
they've had a bunch at the front of well, whatever grocery stores near here. I don't need to give them a free shout out. Go to your local grocery store monopoly. Did you hear that they shut that down, by the way? The Kroger, what was it? Kroger Albertsons merger?
They said it was too anti-competitive.
Yeah, blocked.
That doesn't sound like the current government, so I'm not sure how that's possible.
Well, it was blocked in December 2024, I guess, probably.
Okay, well, they'll refile again in 6 months, and then we'll only have one supermarket to rule them all.
Yeah. Cool. More anti-competitiveness on egg prices.
So sticking with the blackberry theme was a blackberry Dr. Pepper. So this one's very new, and I don't remember if you guys remember, Dr. Pepper very recently put out a dark berry Dr. Pepper.
I've tried what I thought was called berry Dr. Pepper, so maybe it was this.
It would probably depend on how recently it was, because the blackberry Dr. Pepper just came out in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, so
I'm not a huge Dr. Pepper follower. I really feel like Fallout should have a Dr. Prepper as a drink.
That would be
pretty
great.
good.
Wouldn't that be good? Or Mr. Prepper.
It doesn't fit their like retro 50s aesthetic though. So like I don't know how you square that corner.
Yeah, you're right. They have soda.
Yeah, but it's all like Nuka-Cola, right? It's like, oh, haha.
It's all, well, yeah, it was like monopolized, right? Nuka-Cola, everything.
Right.
Which is just Coke, but so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, well, I had the berry Dr. Pepper a long time ago. And then there was like a berry and cream flavor.
It was a strawberries and cream, which is, you can still find. That one they put out.
Machine.
I think I had that in a freestyle machine once, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they still can and bottle that one. It's kind of joined their regular lineup. But this one, the blackberry one, I think gets right what the dark berry one didn't, in that it tastes like a fruit Dr. Pepper, as opposed to that one, which just to me tasted really artificial.
Is this just beer flavors but with soda? You know, like we've now done this with beer, right? Like I'm not averse to it. I just bought a beer that's like raspberry pie Danish or whatever.
I mean,
but we kind of did this with beer like 3 years ago, right? Where every beer brand did some sort of like, we all love that blueberry beer from Bottle Logic.
Yeah.
It's like blueberry pie or whatever.
Blueberry cobbler.
Cobbler, yeah. Is it just soda's turn now?
I feel like soda brands are constantly trying to find, what sticks.
I mean,
yeah, but they're so gargantuan. They move so slowly. It's like
Andy,
remember
I think
it was like
sodas
Coke brought out cinnamon flavor, and it was Michael's like, oh, it's good. And I said, no, it's bad. And then sales said it's bad.
Andy, I think that soda's popularity is way down in the current times. Like, it is not as popular as it was when we were kids. Kids are not drinking it as much. Parents are not drinking it as much. A lot of people aren't drinking soda anymore. So I think, relatively, yes, they're still making an insane amount of money, but number must go up, right? So they can't have growth slowing down.
Well, its number has been going down. Yeah.
You're going to see more and more rapid turnout of flavors trying to find something that sticks.
Michael, I also got to say, I don't got that soda money, man. I don't know if you noticed when you were buying all this stuff, but like a 6-pack of Coke at the grocery store is now like $7.
Yeah, so half the stuff on this list, it was just like buying a single bottle.
Yeah, that makes some sense because it's like $2.50 for a bottle.
Right. Yeah,
it's the only way you can do this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when they did the Oreo ones, that I was like, I got to try the Oreo one. I found the mini cans, and that thankfully cut it down to like $6 instead of like 12 or whatever they were charging for that insane. Like, because you had to buy like a 18-pack or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so we've tried 2 blackberry flavors, and I didn't mind the Shirley Temple, but it wasn't a Shirley Temple.
Agreed.
What else did we try?
So next up on the list is a Coke product. It's the latest one from Coke. They put out Orange Cream Coke.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this one tastes like if you were to make a Coke float with an orange creamsicle. That's exactly what you would.
What about like if you were eating a break apart?
Like an orange 50-50 or something?
More cream?
Yeah, more cream than a break apart.
Okay.
But like, so what it really reminds me of is, when you make a root beer float and you get down to the bottom and it's just that creamy mix of melted ice cream and root beer.
It's the best part, yes.
Right. It's that kind of flavor, but just Coke instead of root beer and orange creamsicle instead of vanilla ice cream. So this one I would recommend, highly recommend. Very, very tasty.
They've definitely been selling vanilla Coke for a long time, so I could definitely see how they got here, where they're like, well, vanilla is pretty good and everyone likes it. What if we get some orange in there?
Not a hard jump.
The freestyle machines, man, they probably have data from all those and being like, what everybody's doing with the vanilla flavor is they're mixing it with orange flavors and all these other things. Like the freestyle machine is like completely free data if they can hook them up.
It's kind of brilliant from that perspective, is that now you don't have to pay for focus groups, right? If you're collecting the numbers on what you're replacing most often.
Yeah.
There's your market research right there.
Yeah. It makes some sense. I found an article from November 2024 that soda is finally up 1.3% this year after a 2-decade decline.
Yeah, so 1% after declining for 20 years is, I guess they got to take the wins where they can find it.
Yeah,
apparently
any growth is.
Apparently, Pepsi is in significant trouble, while the market leader, growing at 11% per year, is my boy Coke Zero.
Anecdotally, the Coke Zeros are the ones that sell out fastest in my office vending machine.
Well, and Michael's been single-handedly making second and third place here, as Dr. Pepper and Canada Dry are now past Pepsi.
There we go. Okay.
Well, that's fun information. All right. What other flavors we got?
All right. I got one more for you. We're moving into food and away from drinks this time.
Oh, okay.
So they sounded a little bit gimmicky, but we read the flavors and we're like, all right, we'll give it a try. Post Malone collaborated with Oreo to come out with a signature flavor.
Okay, I saw this.
I don't know if this sound is making it through the microphone.
Yeah, your skepticism is palpable, Andy.
It's a large growl that I'm not sure I could make loud enough for Craig.
I saw these in the market. I was like, should I buy this? And I looked at it. I'm like, nah. but I was wrong.
You were?
Well, apparently, because Michael
I'm
bought them.
gonna say that
you may not
I'm
have
gonna
been
say
wrong.
that JJ is wrong,
Oh.
because these were quite good. So it is it's a split cookie again. So one chocolate, one vanilla cookie, and then
So
in the middle. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so you're saying there's a chance for mustard?
No, no, we'll get to that. But no, so there's inside is a swirl of two different creams. One of them is salted caramel, and the other one is shortbread.
Okay.
And the overall
good.
combination just comes out really, really good. They get the caramel flavor just right.
I mean, if there's no Pop Rocks, I'm not in.
That's the line. Really?
this far, no further.
Andy, I think you forgot that Post Malone is country now. So
Oh, that's right. So he can make Oreos and sell trucks. Well, he was selling Budweiser during the Super Bowl.
That's true.
As a country boy would, right?
It's true. Yeah, I see these goggles in the picture from him riding his motorcycle that he may or may not have. Oh boy. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
flavors
Michael,
sound good.
It does. I don't think I can join you on this journey, man.
Fair enough. I will enjoy more of them on my own then.
you can bolster their sales for us. I guess.
More for me.
There were a lot of them at the market,
tough,
so I think they're probably selling all right.
It's tough to decide which of these celebrity products to support, because you hear I mean, even I don't want to get into Mr. Beast. I don't know a lot about the guy, but his chocolate was hot for a minute. Then there's I don't know, there's a bunch of all the his videos or whatever, the drama, but then his chocolate is ethically sourced, and it's I don't know, man. Post Malone's not making any claims about chocolate in Oreos or anything, but I don't know about
And then you
celebrity
brought up
products anymore.
the mustard.
I do want a bottle of mustard though. The only way that they're going to get me to buy a bottle of mustard is if it comes with a battery pack that yells mustard when you open it.
Like the GG button, but it's like a flip top of mustard.
It's like those bottle openers that play music when you use them.
Yeah. Okay. Will you be disappointed, Andy, if the mustard is not a Dijon?
100% it should be, but I have a fear it's just some sort of flavored yellow.
I'd be shocked if it's even flavored. Is it just going to be straight plain yellow?
It can't be, right? His name is Dijon. It's gotta be Dijon mustard. It's even spelled Dijon.
Yeah. It feels like a missed opportunity if they don't.
You know what would be the best play is if it was a Heinz branded version of a Grey Poupon. If
so like an actually good Heinz mustard.
Well, no, if they just took the mark. I mean, Grey Poupon should have jumped on it first. That's their own fault. So now Heinz needs to use the, fair use that marketing scheme a little bit. All right. Well, Post Malone made a cookie, and we tried 3 sodas, and some of them were good.
Wow, what a
TLDR.
It's the recap, right? There's a lot of Dr. Pepper in there, and I'm not a huge pepper guy.
There was one Dr. Pepper.
Well, we talked about Dr. Pepper forever.
I mean, I guess Michael's a pepper, but you're not a pepper, and he's a pepper, but is she a pepper? And
in his instance, she is a pepper, but I don't know. We don't need a food court on that. Michael gave us great reviews, and I could see all of them being good. I could see it.
This has been the news from Fansville.
I have a review.
Okay.
I have been watching baseball the last few days, JJ.
This is pre-baseball, so you're watching horrible spring training games.
Do you know why I've been watching baseball?
No.
to bring to you guys a review of the new ABS system.
I've seen some highlights.
Oh dear.
First of all, they called it the ABS system so that you can't Google it.
Yeah, because they're just going to think like, oh, they're your cars.
Anti-lock brakes, yeah. Automatic balls and strikes.
Oh, maybe some of these umps need anti-lock brakes. Oh.
The best part of the ABS system so far is all the umpires throwing shade every time they announce that the pitch was correct. It's pretty bad. It's gonna, they were quote unquote so worried about game times. Every inning, someone's challenging. Every inning.
Yeah, because there's no limit on it, right?
There's a limit per inning. You can't challenge more than once per inning currently. So you threw it away on a pitch that you thought the catchers are the ones that are calling them, or the batters.
I was just about to ask that.
It's catchers and batters. They tap their helmet and it creates an automated review. And if you use one per inning, so if your batter's like, I'm so confident that was it, and they call for it, and the coach is like, no, too late. Sorry, you lost it for the inning.
What about all those guys that like put their hand on their head to adjust their helmet or whatever? Like, oh, nope.
It's like a very specific tapping motion. You can't really screw it up.
Okay, good.
Yeah. If you just like grab your helmet from the front, it shouldn't set it off. It's from what I can tell. But you've already had coaches like laughing at their players for calling. Like laughing at their own players for calling.
When the coach is like, that was obviously in.
Or it's obviously a ball, and you like just wasted our challenge to get a strike later in the inning.
Have the umps? I think the only thing I'm interested in this whole thing is like some of the umps are very funny. Like, there are funny clips out there, Michael. You should.
Oh yeah.
The umps being like, oh, surprisingly, it was correct.
There's very good ones. It's like. And the call is, surprisingly, a ball. Yeah.
So
the way it works, I'm sorry, while you collect your thought there.
Yeah.
Michael, there's an automated strike zone. And you should get, I think it's Jom Boy, that guy, has a very, very good video that breaks down the ridiculous nature of what is now considered the strike zone. Because I'm sure when you were a kid, you were taught what the strike zone was.
Yeah, knees to letters, right?
Yeah, sure. That's what we were all taught forever. No, now it's a proportional ratio of each batter's body that starts somewhere around their shins and ends just above their waist.
So here's the thing, right? Because the automated system is measuring like a square above the plate in relation to the size of the batter, like, taller or shorter or whatever. They make the box, right, based on the height of the batter. And then the computer, because, it's like the automated tennis system, where it's like it's in or out, and the computer's like, well, it's like barely touching the line, and that counts as in, right? The bottom of that strike zone, dude, like it's going to be the middle of your shins, because if the very tippy top of that baseball grazes the very bottom of that strike zone, that's a strike, dude.
Bottom of the ball.
You're golfing now.
There'll be a lot of dirt thrown this season. A lot.
All I'm seeing is the computer drawing the Vitruvian Man.
And kind of.
Very much. And if you're a person that used to strike batters out on high and in, good luck, because every batter is taking everything high from now on.
Sure, yeah.
Right? And like the old strikeout Mike Trout by throwing it in the dirt and then throwing it high, and his eyes get real big and then he swings and misses. Never going to happen. All batters are laying off anything near their chest.
So, Andrew, the one saving grace is that this ends after the preseason. In the real season, this is not a rule in MLB yet. That's why I mentioned I was watching it now.
So enjoy this season.
You are correct that it is very likely coming next year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't put it in the minors because they're not going to do it. If they're going to not do it, they put it in the North Atlantic League.
Well, even the stuff from there has come over eventually. So,
yep. After it goes to the minors, right? So they tested it, and oh boy. I get that everyone's upset because we all have TVs and we can all review every single pitch on our own. But there's a system for getting good umpires and not doing this kind of stuff. This is crazy. I think. I mean, it's going to change the game a lot. And
yeah,
just like, I mean, it's still going to behoove you to have big guys that can go yard with balls very easily. But it's getting to be a small strike zone if you got a little guy up there. 5'7", that strike zone's 40% smaller than a guy that's 6'7".
Yeah, I think the nature of this system, if it stays this way and doesn't expand or anything, means that a guy who is like very keen and knowing exactly when, professional players all have good eyes, but some are better than others at taking balls, right? Guys who can tell the minute differences between stuff that's up a little bit and down a little bit are going to become way more valuable. And like the dudes taking hacks at stuff to go to the yard are not anymore.
And pitching is going to change. If this comes in, pitching will change immensely. People complain about too much good pitching now. Wait till every single pitcher throws at everybody's knees and has a breaking ball that looks exactly the same until it drops the last 4 inches.
By the way, all the pitchers already do that. Like, that's the problem. Like, it's going to be much worse.
It's going to be 10 times worse because that's the only pitch. You can't throw up.
Yeah. So I don't know how they fix this, but they have to elevate that strike zone some out of the like knee to waist area. It has to come up a little bit into the chest. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to ever get a pitch that's like, like out of the dirt.
Yeah. I mean, Michael, you watch the Braves. JJ, you're a Padres guy.
Yep.
I check in on the Angels for the first 2 weeks of the year. And then
it's the correct amount of Angels investment.
see how many games Anthony Rendon's going to play by then.
He already said he's out for the year.
Well, maybe I should watch more than 2 weeks then. This is one of those things, and I don't know how much baseball to talk about, but this is one of those things that I feel like all the eggheads in the baseball offices feel like they're making these changes for non-baseball fans to make the game better. And it's just making the game more for like statisticians and crabby baseball people. And like the people from outside are like, what's happening? Why are we reviewing this? What's happening?
But
it's
my
just
OPS
another
plus has gone down and my WRCR3 plus is lowered this season, Andrew. I need to make it higher for my statistic.
See what I mean?
That's how every baseball statistician sounds to me.
Yeah, except they all like hit the gym 17 hours a day.
Yeah, because there's nothing. No, they're hitting the gym during baseball, and if they're during baseball, that is 17 hours a day.
Fair enough. Speaking of hitting the gym a bunch, if you guys have not been watching it, you got to go see the most yoked vigilante of all time on Amazon Prime. It's not an ad, but it rhymed. That's why I said it. Reacher is an amazing show.
It's pretty good. I watched a little bit of the first season.
JJ, I assume that means the silence is I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. But I understand the concept, right? Is it like the same thing as those Tom Cruise movies? So I'm not.
Same
it's
character.
The same.
Yeah.
What? Say that, Michael.
It's the same character. Yeah.
Yeah. So those Tom Cruise movies was like, hey, this guy made this cool character. How can we turn this into a Tom Cruise movie? right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are like, those books were really good. How do we make those books into a show?
Is this guy just a cop, but not a cop?
Yes.
He was military police,
A
right? Isn't that his
military
background?
cop. Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
now he's the cop.
Now he's kind of a ghost. He's the guy you call when you have nobody else to turn to.
Well,
Because all the
not
cops
even
are bad, and so he's the anti-cop.
No, there's no anti-copping. Well, there is in one of them, but most of the time there's no anti-copping. Which I don't know how you feel about that. You could go either way. I'm not going to tell you how to feel about that situation. What's cooler about it, I think, is like the design of the show is more of a, this is a guy that's just sort of like trying to wander the earth to recover from maybe some of the lesser good aspects of upholding the law. You know, it's like walking penance almost.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think his tagline is like kind of trouble always finds him sort of situation. He's trying to help out the little guy more often than not. But the little guy often gets caught up with like large conspiracies because it's those types of books.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Kidnapped by the
yeah.
mafia or something, right?
Yeah, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Alan Richson takes, you know, Tom Cruise is a well-made individual. He's got a lot of time to go to the gym. The thing that for me was cool was for them to like read the book and be like, actually, this guy's like huge and yoked out of his mind, and people would look at him and be insane to try and fight him. And they were like, okay, well, let's find an actor like that. And then they found an actual actor like that can act. And some of the time, just some of the looks that he's able to give in the show are worth the whole episode of an hour or whatever they are.
He's really good.
Very, very emotive actor. And kind of gives you the impression that like there's wheels spinning instead of just like the cop procedural drama. It's not really how it goes all the time.
But also looks JJ like he could tear a phone book in half.
He does tear a phone book in half, literally.
Cool. I will say my tolerance for police procedural is through the floor, below the earth.
This is not that though. It's not a police procedural.
It really feels like
I hate every time the police are glorified. Every cop I see in a show makes me want to bite their head off. So I really have a low tolerance for this kind of stuff. So I'm hoping you're saying, you know,
well, the good news is so does Reacher.
Okay.
He might still interact with the cops.
More often than not, they're just kind of an obstacle in his way.
They kind of slow him down from his
because they're bad cops on the take, or they're in on it, or they're that kind.
No, generally they're just kind of inept.
They're kind of
just inept
just in the way,
like the real police. Got it.
Yeah. What is it, JJ? Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity.
Yes, that is Hanlon's razor. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's a operating theory of a lot of this stuff. It's like, maybe this guy's just dumb.
Yep, almost certainly. That's usually the answer. In some cases, it's both. But
yeah.
Usually just dumb.
Well, there you go. I think it's a better show than you would expect it to be by a decent amount. It would be given the premise, especially if you've seen those Tom Cruise movies.
All right, I'll give it a try. I'll watch one and see how I take to it, and if I don't, then just stop watching.
I think the biggest issue I have, and I didn't have this issue until my wife brought it up, is he's sort of like a vagabond, and like when he needs to change clothes, he just goes to Goodwill and buys new clothes. But she brings up the point quite often that it's been a long time since he changed his underwear.
It's one of those things you don't think about in watching TV shows.
And you watch him go to the bathroom all the time. Like, this is a TV show. What is your?
No, but he often does not have time to do much of anything, and you do notice that he's in the same clothes like every episode, which means he probably hasn't changed his underwear.
I think it means you're watching a TV show and they want the character to look the same.
I mean, very specifically, they talk about how he doesn't change his clothes. It's a kind of a running joke.
I mean, I guess they got laundromat and he just sits there naked. I don't know.
Yeah. JJ, what'd you get up to this week? Michael was trying foods all the time. I was watching ABS replays and games and
ABS replays. I watched that new season of Castlevania on Netflix. I'm like,
oh shoot,
3/4 of the way through it.
Okay, how does it hold up to? Well, so weirdly, Michael, the first Castlevania one that I think you did watch.
No, I still have not gotten around to watching that.
Was not connected to the most recent Castlevania in so much as it was not a direct lineage time wise, right? Like it was.
Okay.
It was,
yeah, there's Castlevania, and then there's Castlevania Nocturne.
Nocturne,
which is what.
And Nocturne was not a single season, unlike Castlevania.
Castlevania had like 3 seasons.
I'm
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. And then this one is now 2 seasons.
Correct.
And I guess you don't know. You haven't finished it yet, but
I am not.
The big reveal. I don't know if you care, Michael, about the big reveal at the end of last season. Spoilers. Was that Alucard was like, "Bro, I'm here. What's up?" That was the end of it. It was like, "Oh, cool. We're finally connected again after 12 episodes."
They kind of could have used him before, but he.
Late. You know, story wise, it made sense for him not to be there. Otherwise, half the stuff wouldn't have happened because he would have just killed everybody.
Yeah, not wrong.
He's like, oh, night creatures, not really a problem. I'll just kind of kill them all with my magic sword. What's next? Versus our intrepid heroes being like, I don't know what to do about all these night creatures.
I mean, the intrepid heroes knew the people the night creatures used to be, so they feel bad about it, you know?
Yeah, they tried to make them sing in a basement and worked for a minute.
Well, there's more night creatures singing, so, hey, that's still happening.
Our singing friend did live through the last season, so.
As a night creature.
Yeah.
Did
we explain those? Michael, do you know what a night creature is?
I do not.
Semi close to like a reanimated spirit in a demon's body was the best way I could describe it.
It's like you take the soul of a person
and
some of their body.
Some of the body.
And stick it into a demon. Yeah. It's kind of
like
gross.
You need the soul and the body to like form a demon, and then the demon might use parts of the body. Depends on what the demon wants to be, kind of thing.
Interesting. Okay.
They're all kind of weird and gross and like have too many arms or too many eyes or weird legs or something. They're all weird.
Yeah. And I don't know why they call them night creatures, because they don't have to come out at night.
Yeah, they're specifically the ones that that can be in the daytime versus the vampires, right?
Very, very funny to me that they're called night creatures.
Daywalkers?
No, because they're not vampires.
So this one takes place during
and not made by vampires either.
The time of the French Revolution. So that's the deal, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the cool. You know what's cool about it is they were like, yo, French Revolution politics were kind of fun. And so they're like, look at all this weird stuff that happened with the church.
And so that's just the backdrop.
Yeah.
And then, the vampires are kind of nobility, and, there was a, revolution going on there. So you can kind of see how the stakes get set. It makes some sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever want to see Alucard talking to Robespierre, Andy? Do you ever
I
think of a
didn't
thing
know.
that was a thing you wanted?
I didn't
Until
know
you
that
said
I wanted. I didn't know that I wanted that, but sound. Let's see, wrote. Yeah, it sounds like something I want. It sounds like something would be in an Assassin's Creed, is what that sounds like to me.
Totally.
Very much, yeah.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like, oh, I know Ezio would have been dead by then, but you know, some version of that assassin, like being like, "What's up, Rose Pierre? You want to be in the Committee of Public Safety?"
So yeah, I mean, it's it picks up from the last season. There was a whole big climactic thing. There's stuff is carrying forward. The main cast splits up a little bit for reasons, and they're just starting to head back together where I am. So we'll see what happens as the season ends. But I liked it. I liked the previous one, so I'm gonna stay in.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, what's his name? Plays isn't Alucard our buddy from Battlestar?
Is he
James Callis? I think it's James Callis.
Could be.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's James Callis, and I'll just give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, Alucard, Gaius Baltar. He's racking up a good list of characters here.
Yeah. So I mean, I like it. I think it's good. If you like the other ones, like you can keep watching this. It's pretty good.
Okay. I mean, it's weird to say this because it's like reversing into exactly the same thing. In so much as I like playing that Assassin's Creed video game series because of the weird history stuff. Castlevania, which started as a video game series without much of the history stuff, backing into history stuff, kind of makes it the same as those Assassin's Creed game series. You know what I mean?
Kinda,
it's a
yeah.
weird.
They rope you in the other direction.
It's like a Venn diagram of Ouroborosing Venn diagram. It's
you're correct. It is James Callis as Alucard, and
yeah.
Ian Glenn is Juiced Belmont, the guy from Game of
granddaddy,
Thrones.
Granddaddy Belmont, right? This is granddad, right?
Yeah.
Is he's back too?
Oh yeah.
They had their little moment. They had their little moment in the river, right?
Yep. He's
Simon. Him and Simon. Not Simon.
I honestly don't remember which Belmont the main character is.
Well, it's not Richter.
No.
Because, right? No.
I feel like they don't say his name often enough, so I don't remember which one he is. They just refer to him as Belmont.
Well, Richter was the first go around, wasn't it?
It's not Richter. It's not Richter. I just don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I thought it was Simon, but I can't remember now.
It could be Simon, and I'm just not remembering. That's possible.
If you remember, you should email us at podcast@wewergamers.com. It's a real email address. I'll read it and embarrass both of us by saying it wasn't Simon, it wasn't Richter, it
actually was Richter.
Maximilian.
Dang.
It was Richter?
Yeah.
It's backwards. Isn't that backwards?
No, they're both they're
both his grandsons.
It's like 2 generations later or 3 generations later they have another one, I guess.
2 Richters?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right to me.
I don't know. I'm not here to be the keeper of the Belmont family line. That's not my problem.
Richter Belmont's in Smash, so whatever, just whatever.
They are all here.